It's DUG24. 24 hours, 24 sessions, 24 speakers, 100% Microsoft Dynamics. It's unparalleled, unprecedented, and undeniable fun with your hosts Beau Schwieso and Bobby Small. Let's get into it with another episode of DUG24.
With that, Aurélien, if you want to jump on camera and think you're ready to go as a presenter, we're ready to hear from you.
Yeah. Hello everyone. Hello Rachel. Good morning or good evening, depending on where you are.
Morning and morning.
Yeah, it's 8 a.m. on my side. You see my screen, yeah?
Yeah, we see
perfect. Thank you. Okay, let's go. Oops, I have the. Sorry, I need to jump. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. So, hello everyone. So I'm Aurélien Clère. I'm living in Paris, in France. So nice to meet everyone. So the goal of this session is to going on the bridging the FNO developers and the functional consultant through AI for sure, AI-driven ALM. So what I will want and what I will show you is really how you can end-to-end from a specification until the release, going also in the middle about development for sure, and then also the testing part. So end-to-end flow from a request from a customer until the deployment, all the way with AI, with all we have right now in the market. So I'm the CTO. I will present myself. So I'm the CTO of DynamicsCon. I'm an MVP for 8 years now, because there was all the renewal of MVP a few days ago. So I'm working on the business apps world for 15 years now, and the AX since 2009, and now of course FNO. So yeah, I'm working a lot right now on AI and MCP X++ for developers, but also to, let's say, to bridge the gap with the functional people, because as you know, functional people, like Rachel was saying, they're not they don't know how to develop for sure, but they need to build good specification in order that AI could do a lot of good development for sure. So yeah, and also working a lot on the PPAC era, the famous DynamicsCon platform journey, which is almost at the end of the journey, I would say. So yeah. And you will see that in this session, I will use only PPAC era, not LCS anymore, because it's the new way for sure. So you have my blog post, my blog article, so PowerAzure365.com, and of course also you can add me on LinkedIn if you like, and if you have also any question in the coming days or weeks, I'm happy to answer it. Until Friday, because after I go to Portugal for holiday, so I will have some off days and holidays for 3 weeks, but yeah. So on the menu and the agenda today, so I will cover a little bit about the PPAC era and how you can end-to-end from the requirement until the deployment with PPAC only mode and not LCS. Of course, the toolchain, how you can use the MCP X++ in order to do development with AI, and the CLI, etc. I have just created for you a very good important stuff is all the CoWork plugins. I don't know if you know that, and CoWork has been released in GA middle of June, I think, after build. And it's also not free anymore, as you know, but still you can develop plugins in order to have a lot of skills with AI, because skills is really important now with AI. So I made few free for the community, free CoWork plugins. You can download and you will see how you can use it. You can use it to bridge the functional gap between functional people and technical people. And I have a quick global demonstration also at the end. So the LCS era hangover, yeah, the drama. So you know that the old way was always to do some kind of manual stuff, I would say, when we were in LCS. I guess maybe here a lot of people are still in LCS, even like me, for few customers, because we are waiting for the migration tool to be available, but it's coming soon, by the way. It's in preview right now. So for the old way, you know, it was always, oh, I made the development, it's working on my VM. You know that the functional people were doing some regression tests. Oh, it's not working on my side, but the developer was saying, hey, no, it's not. It's working on my PC, on my laptop, so on my cloud-hosted environment. So really, the new PPAC era is kind of a little. I know that on the PPAC era, there are some kind of, yeah, it's still new. There are still new things to enhance, but it's, I would say it's a little more up to date, or in a good shape, good way to develop with PPAC, with UDE, of course. Git, please use Git now. I think maybe you had a session before with Nathan. I guess he has mentioned it, maybe. I imagine. So yeah, please use Git for DevOps in terms of repository. Maybe we see how you can, with PPAC, use the MCP agent code, the YAML pipelines. So again, if you are using Git, please use YAML pipelines in DevOps. You will see after how you can manage it, and the auto deploy to PPAC and the pull request. So really, we are with PPAC with ALM 2.0. And I made a large article about it. I will share it maybe at the end. But you have from the specification until the deployment, but in the middle, for the technical people, you have Git, YAML pipelines, PackCLI, and all the UDE stuff using AI. That's the point. Yeah. So with this kind of ALM, you will have a large, better quality gate. So you are kind of in a better way to manage deployment and to make sure that you will not broke anything in prod normally. That's the goal. So now for me, the new tool chain for developers, as of now in 2026, you have kind of 4, let's say, tools. First of all, of course, we will see after the famous MCP X++, because that's the one you can use to do development in X++, and not using, ChatGPT to ask ChatGPT to build for you X++, because X++ is not a very well known source, development source code, and it's not like C#.NET, it's not like Python. It's really the AOT. I think we have 1 million objects. I don't know if you knew that before. So it's a large, it's an ERP. It's not like we have 10 tables. We have, I think, 18,000 tables in the AOT. So very large. And that's why we have this MCP X++ in order for the AI LLM, like Claude, like OpenAI, like Gemini, or whatever LLM you use. It's really important to use this MCP. Otherwise, you don't know how to build a form. A form is very specific in X++. Okay, how to build a form. If you check the XML behind the object, even EDT, even that data entities, which are really only in a FNO side point of view. So it's very important to have a very good AI grounding, and to make sure to have a good X++ object. Because I think 2 years ago, when ChatGPT, no, even 3 now, time flies. I think in 2023, when ChatGPT, that's a new AI buzz. If you 3 years ago, we didn't add this MCP X++, and I think if you ask anything about X++, it was not very, very good because, yeah, X++ was not an open source code for sure. So we have a new thing which will come very, I think it's very important because, you know, now AI is not free. Well, I guess you know that. It's all about consumption. But we have a new thing which is CLI. And it's very important maybe to, if you don't know that yet, especially for developers, maybe to try the CLI way because it's really a better way to decrease the amount of token you will use when you will ask anything about doing development. So there is a new way which is CLI, and yeah, so you have two. You can use MCP or CLI. It's the same purpose, okay, the 1 and 2. I think the MCP is still a thing, and it's for X++. But yeah, if you can try both of them and maybe compare the amount of tokens, etc. I'm doing it right now. I'm doing like a benchmark to make sure that okay, because at the end I still want to have a good code generated for sure. that's the purpose. But I try to now that the MCP is quite good now in terms of quality. I'm trying to optimize. You know, I think now since AI is in 2026, now we are leveraging or trying to optimize the cost. So this is, I think, very important to check it. Of course, the GitHub and DevOps for sure. And you know, the ADO, you have your repository, all your YAML pipelines, your pull request driven workflow, quality gate, which is very important because I don't know if you know that, but if you are in all the way in PPAC era, you know, UDE, USE, UPE, so nothing in LCS now. I don't know if you know that, but LCS, you can't create any new project right now in LCS. If you're starting a new customer, we had still few exceptions if you want, but now if I sign a new customer tomorrow, I need to do all the project in PPAC now without LCS. So I need to go, I still need the DevOps for sure. That's right. I will use Git, YAML pipelines, and pull request driven workflow because in PPAC, you don't have any asset library like in LCS before. And it's only with that you can control like an approval process. You know, in LCS, it was on your side as a human to ask Microsoft to release your code in prod. You know, it's a release candidate, etc. stuff. Now in PPAC, if you have all your environment in PPAC, including the production, it's only via DevOps and pull request driven workflow to make your quality gates in order to, I need my N+1 or my technical leader to approve the release and to start the release in prod. So this is why for me DevOps, this is why I started to do this kind of ALM 2.0, because I knew that for anyone that are now in PPAC mode only, you need to have very good ALM in DevOps because it's your tower control of your release management end to end. So you need to be good at it. Otherwise, you will release something which was not planned in prod without any approval, so not very good. And we have the famous PAC CLI, which you need to know now because in PPAC you have a CLI again. In that the PAC CLI was very well known in the Power platform for a very long time. That the CLIs that manage all the package deployment, package making the solution, all the deployable packages and so on. So you need also to learn this one. And you need, because AI maybe can also trigger the deployment directly. So AI know how to use PAC CLI because it's open source here. So yeah. So globally end-to-end, when I am in PPAC mode, okay, I can generate code via the MCP X++. I can then push to my Git repository and review it for sure. So again, still, even if it's the AI that will do my dev, I still need, I would say for me, even I'm quite confident, you know, when AI do development, but yeah, we are still, it's still new for me, even for my team internally. So we are using a lot, even just for your information, on my team at Danagil in France, all my developers, they are all using these things that I show you right now globally. So it's not just marketing the slides, it's really, it's working. You need to be confident and to try it. I would say it's always, try it and you will see. But you still need a human to review the code, etc. So like any vibe coding configuration, like Rachel was maybe mentioning before on the previous session, or even Frederic, or anyone that have presenting some AI stuff, still need human to review, validate, approved or not, or even ask the AI to say, oh no, this one is not a good X++ object. You need to review it and change it, so that you can have a memory markdown file so that your AI will learn about with you, like a colleague, which is not a human. It's it's an artificial intelligence, but still, you need, of course, a good build and validation with your CI/CD stuff in DevOps, and then, of course, the deployment via PackCLI. So let's go to AI now. So the MCP. So you have the link here. I can, of course, at the end of session, I can copy paste, or maybe Beau, or maybe you can paste it in the chat if you like. But I can also share my slide at the end of the session. But globally, you have a GitHub repository made by the Ninja guy. So it's a community MCP server. So as of now, we don't have one made in standard by Microsoft. Okay, so right now, this one I share with you right now, it's quite a well-known one. In fact, I know that other people are also trying to build their own one. You can build your own MCP X++, but with AI also. I guess this Ninja guy, from what I know, he has used AI to build this MCP that do X++ development. But that's a well-known one, very famous one. I think now it's almost 1 year ago that this guy has shared it. So it's completely free. You can download the source code. You can even, GitHub is always social coding, community, sharing, caring. So I think it's good because we are on the community events. So always good to share some very good community repository. So of course you can plug after this MCP to any AI IDE, like Cloud Code, like Copilot, GitHub Copilot, Cursor. Okay, so it's completely agnostic. So you can use on any kind of, and with all kind of LLM, like Gemini, like OpenAI, like I will use you will see on my demonstration, my side, I use GitHub Copilot because I have a license for it on my enterprise mode. You have a GitHub Copilot individual mode if you like, and if you are a freelance. But also you have after I use Claude model globally. So Claude Sonnet, which for me is the best quality and cost control mode. Good quality, the best perfect. Just to avoid if I compare it to Cloud Opus, it's good, but it's not so free. So so this MCP X++ can read, navigate on metadata, write code, tables, form, everything you do. Even I didn't try it very often, but normally can do very good SSRS, the famous things that developers don't want to do in FNO, the reports. But tables, you can do it for sure. Classes, because it's X++ code, even forms. You will see in this MCP X++, we have sub tools like generating smart form and so on. You can also do unit testing, which I know that not a lot of developers maybe were doing it, or even trying to do audit of the code my side, even on an existing customer right now, I do a lot of performance testing, performance optimization on the existing code that were developed maybe 10 years ago. So yeah, very, very good MCP. As I said, this same guy, the ninja guy, he has a name also, by the way. You can, it's a human behind the ninja guy. I think he's from Spain, Spanish guy. Very good guy if you know him. And the CLI. So again, this guy, I will share it after, but on the same repository, GitHub repository, he has made this CLI. And again, the same thing as before is just doing the same kind of thing. That's the same goal, okay, some objectives, but really I highlighted in red right now is just to try to cut tokens easily. So from the benchmark the ninja guy have made so far, for few requirements development, we were decreasing the amount of token by 90%. So it's not just 5%, 90 is quite huge. So yeah. So as you know, it's credits on GitHub Copilot now, again, like co-work now in GitHub Copilot. I think you have only 3,000 credits with the GitHub Copilot Enterprise edition. I think now they have a GitHub Copilot Max plan. Maybe it's with that, I think it's 20,000, but you will see that even with on my team, since we now do a lot of development with that, so I have kind of a return of experience now is, yeah, you can, on a few little requirements, you can, for just doing 3-4 tables, 2-3 classes, you can have like spending 1,000 credit very easily. So, and you have only 3,000 token, from 3,000 credits, sorry, for just 1 month. So yeah, so this is why I think for me, the CLI is maybe a better way than the MCP, but try the both, compare it if you like, and choose the best one you want at the end, I would say. On the pipelines, on the pull request quality gates. So as I said, now you can use YAML pipelines. So again, for that, I have made on my side, again, at the end, I share all the link, but on my GitHub repository, you will find it. And I have made an article on my blog, Power Azure 365.com. I have made in March, I think, a very, very large article about ALM 2.0 using YAML pipelines, and I have shared all my, because I think Microsoft don't really share it. It's on your side to build all your YAML pipelines in DevOps now with Git. So I've shared it for the community so if you can try it and use it if you like. But yeah. On GitHub right now, I don't know if you know that, but I guess for me, it's not I guess, I'm sure. Normally, in a few months or even next year, I hope so, it will be possible to use GitHub only, not Azure DevOps for FNO. I'm saying that. Why we can't, we can do it right now. I think Alex Mayer, he has done also a GitHub repository 1 or 2 years ago, using again another community tool that we're trying to bridge the gap between DevOps and GitHub to make sure you can use GitHub all the way from, I have my repo in my GitHub and I want to deploy it to FNO end-to-end. So you can do it, but it's still tricky because you know, when you are in Azure DevOps, you are still relying a lot on an extension, on the FNO marketplace. You have a marketplace in Azure DevOps. You can download, you need to download the FNO DevOps extension. Like one thing which is not supported right now in GitHub is how to download the NuGet packages. You know that's the first part of your compile workflow. you need to first download the Nugget packages for X++ in order to build your project. And this part is not supported yet in GitHub. So you can have the artifact of Nugget packages in an Azure DevOps, and the GitHub action will download the Nugget packages. And so, yeah, but it's like it's an hybrid way, and it's not very, not very good. So what we are waiting for is to have the pack CLI like we have right now. If you are using a lot UDE right now in your own Visual Studio laptop, you will see that now you can download without LCS. Before we were going to LCS, shared asset library, Nugget packages, download all of them on your own laptop, and then upload it to DevOps on the artifact manually. So now we have that directly in locally on your own laptop with Visual Studio on the VS extension. But now the goal is to have the same thing in the pack CLI. The same one we will need to have in GitHub in order to download on the GitHub agent, to download all the X++ source code in order so that GitHub can compile the X++, of course. But please, so for me, GitHub, we are still waiting those few limitations to be sorted, I would say. Then maybe it will be possible to have all the way GitHub, an FNO project handled by GitHub only. So I don't know if you know that, but in GitHub, you can have, of course, a public code, repository. But for sure, for a customer, it will be a private one. I guess you don't want to share the source code publicly. But in GitHub, you can have a GitHub Enterprise mode in order to have a private repository so that you don't share your source code and you do the same thing as GitHub individual MVP community stuff, social coding, okay? But in Azure DevOps, if you are still on Azure DevOps, like me, all my projects are handled in Azure DevOps as of now with PPAC. I'm using, as I said, Git and YAML pipelines, but also I have done a lot of pull request gates, as I'm saying, like unit testing, like approval from my manager, etc. So since now we are going and migrate to the PPAC mode, and as I said, please use YAML, please use Git, please use pull request mode, please use all quality gates in order to have the good workflow to do the deployment part, I would say. So before my demonstration, I will share 3 CoWork plugins, as I was saying, and that's the one. So they are all free. Okay. CoWork is still a new kind of thing. Okay. So as of now, I have a support request because I don't know why, but Microsoft didn't as of now, but I hope they will do. I didn't find a way to update my CoWork plugin. So as soon as I wanted to add new skills, right now in the admin portal of CoWork, you don't have an update button. You can, which is quite funny, but you can just add a version 1 of your CoWork plugins. But as soon as you have a 1.1 version, you want just to update. And seems that Microsoft forgot this part. So, but I've made those 3 CoWork plugins. So one was Azure DevOps. If I start from normally the beginning of my development flow. So normally you are a functional guy or girl, and you have made some workshop with your customer to have the feed gap analysis, to do the specification at the end in order to pass it to your colleague developer to develop it in X++. Okay, and you test it after. You functional, you validate, and you deploy. The technical guy deploy it. So my goal was really to make sure that in CoWork, because you know that now in CoWork you have a lot of plugins, including one which is very well known because there is an FNO plugin, which is in fact a way to plug the MCP, the standard MCP on the FNO side, from Jared Hall, but we don't have yet, this is why I have developed it, those 3 co-work plugins. We don't have one for DevOps, and we didn't have the one for FNO, and in either BPA. So BPA is quite irrelevant, or not irrelevant, but it's quite unrelated for this kind of session because it's another thing. But again, just for you to know that I have developed one for BPA, and of course I will share it after. So the first one I have made, and for me this is why I've made this session for you today. Okay, it was trying to bridge a gap between functional people and technical people. But since now technical people, normally, I would say, will use a lot MCP or CLI, X++ agent to do development. As I think Rachel was saying before, you need to put good context for AI and good specification. Okay, like the planning part, the specification, the architecture. Okay, in order that, because the MCP X++ development agent will do good code generation, but the main requirement for it is to have the good SFD. Okay, like before, when 10 years ago, so I don't do a lot of developments now, but back in the day when I was a developer, yeah, for sure, it's when I got some specification from my functional colleague, it was okay, but you forgot that. What I need, it was a lot of back and forth, but a lot of question between the functional and technical part. I knew that even some functional people in my career, they were going a lot on the technical, deeper on the specification, going really detailed specification. But my goal was, the same CLI I was sharing before, that have all the grounding, all the 1 million AOT objects. I know that functional people, when they were moving from AX 2012 to FNO, they missed a lot, to have an access to the AOT. You know that, okay? For sure, if you are working a lot on FNO and AX 2009 or 12 before, as a functional people, they are, even without Visual Studio, we used MorphX before. It was possible to go to the AOT, etc. When I was doing my functional design, it was possible to go to the. Now it's not the case anymore. Or your functional people need to install and download your Visual Studio locally. Maybe a little better with UDE now for that, but still, the CLI I've shared it before. You can, and the same thing for MCP. It's all the way it's on your own laptop. This is why it's important, because UD now in PPAC, you are developing from your own laptop. You don't need a VM now in a cloud-hosted environment. So you do your development all the way locally with UDE. The CLI and the MCP can be downloaded and installed and configured and running on your own laptop. You will see on my demonstration after. The same CLI, you can deploy it on an Azure container. And the same Azure container can be used by a lot of all your functional people. So it's how I have done this co-work plugin. So we are doing it with Laze. I think he has a session with Andre just after me. So right now it's still not the perfect version. So if you can try it, if you like, you can help me with Laze, because it's social coding, it's GitHub. So if you want to enhance it with us, you feel free to do it for sure. It's community stuff. But I think if you use this co-work plugin and you have co-work right now, you do your workshop via Teams, you record it for sure. You have your transcript at the end of your workshop, functional workshop with your customer. So you have all the transcript, all the things. So this is why human is still needed, because we need still human speaking to human to know, okay, what is your process, how you handle that, etc. Oh, it's not standard, we need a development for it, Then I can use this co-work plugin to do a very good SFD. That was the purpose of this co-work plugin. Okay, so as soon as I put my transcript to co-work in Copilot, I can use also this plugin to have the CLI, to have the grounding, and you can use it also on an on-demand ad hoc session to ask anything about the AOT, like the few questions you see just on the right. Same thing for DevOps. You have an MCP. You know, I don't know if you know that, but in Azure DevOps, you have a standard MCP. My goal was really to try to build a co-work plugin, maybe more for project manager, but also because you know that you are also using a lot of DevOps, not only for technical stuff, but also for work item, you know, Epic, change request, user stories, and so on. So my goal was really to build a co-work plugin again to have, and really the co-work plugin you will see on my GitHub repo, it's mainly skills. And again, I think skills are really important because because if you are using the standard MCP of DevOps, it's just the MCP, it's just a link, it's just a URL, you know, that's it. So with the skills behind, now with co-work and even with VS Code, because you can use those skills in VS Code and the MCP of DevOps, you can have a better thing to. So I made a kind of tools, skills, sorry, for project manager and functional people. And if you are in co-work, you can also, you know, generate PowerPoint. I know that a lot of project managers, they do a project committee every week, maybe. And all things have been, well, updated by functional and technical people in DevOps are the remaining hours I need for this requirement and so on. And he wants to present it to the customer. So that's a way to very easily generate that. And you know that in co-work, you can have a scheduling part. So you can say every Monday morning, please use the co-work plugin Aurélien I've made, connect it to my DevOps and generate a very good PowerPoint so that when I go to my committee meeting, my project committee, I can, it's always up to date. That was the goal. And BPA, same thing. I will go very fast for this one because, again, it's not really related to this session, but I made also a BPA. I think BPA is a good example because you know that the MC, again, we have an MCP for BPA, so Business Performance Analytics. And for those that don't know this add-on, very well known, very good. Also, I really suggest you to install it if you don't install, and it will, I think it will be even installed by default normally in the coming months now, BPA. But you can use the MCP of BPA to ask anything about financial question, I would say, because you know BPA behind it's a very large model, financial models, data sets. But you just have two tools behind the MCP of BPA. I think it just execute DAX queries. That's it. That's, you know, so, but you know that I think it's here where the skills are very important for BPA. If you use BPA MCP, is okay. I know that the people that will use the MCP of BPA behind, even in co-work, I am the CFO, I have FNO in my company, I have BPA installed by my implementation partner. That's good, but maybe I just want quick question, and you can use this also co-work plugin directly to ask anything about the data set behind BPA. So if I do the whole workflow end-to-end, so for me, the goal was to have a way to analyze an analyst agent. So the analyst agent can be, in fact, the DevOps co-work plugin I have made. The architect part will be done by the co-work CLI mod I have shared before. The development can be done by the MCP or CLI I have shared before. The testing part could be done by AI using Playwright or even the standard MCP FNO. And then the same thing, the same co-work DevOps plugin can do the PR manager, so the release manager, gate, approver, and commit and push, etc. So from a one requirement until the deployment, all the 5 steps you see right now can be done by AI, in fact. Still, maybe with a human behind, for sure. Like me, I will do just after my demonstration, but good transition. So if I go to my demonstration, so it will be a very easy demonstration. Huh? I don't have time. Sorry, I will share. So here just to share with you. So the MCP, as I was saying before, so my side, I'm using the MCP, not the CLI yet, day-to-day, I would say. But again, as I was saying, I'm trying to see if the CLI is very, very good in terms of quality of code before I switch to it, because yeah, as I was saying, AI is not free now, so I need to make sure we can optimize the cost in my company. But yeah, I will not cover how to configure the MCP on your own laptop. Again, on the GitHub repo, so the one on my GitHub repository, you will see the so you have the CLI way from the Ninja guy I was saying, and you have the MCP. Okay, so the both of them. So as I was saying, maybe try the both of them, and you have all the explanation how to. But it's very simple. It's really all globally. That only the things you need to do those steps. So quite easy to install. And then when it's launched, as you will see, my MCP is running now on my own laptop for X++ development. And as you can see, that's the number of symbols of the objects that have been indexed by the MCP. So I was saying 1 million, but it's even more than 1 million AOT objects in X++. So as you know, so very large. Of course, the standard object, but also your custom object you have done so far. So it will index all your custom models and the Microsoft standard models for sure. So I'm starting from the requirements. So I have already, so again, I will do a very simple dummy demonstration, but just to make sure that since we have only almost 1 hour, but just to explain what you can do if you you are not confident. It's this model I have created all by AI. Okay, and you will see it's not just to build one class of code. Okay, like a demonstration. It's an ISV, in fact. So all the ISV has been done by AI. Okay, so it's not just to do a very simple demonstration. So I have already a model already deployed, and the goal was to just quickly create Portuguese, because I'm going again to Portugal in holidays, so I didn't have a good use case for you. So I said, okay, let's just do a quick change request, and the change request is very simple. It's just translate labels. I know that even technical people or even functional people, they were saying that, oh, you do development, we have customers that are in Europe, and they have subsidiaries in Spain, Portugal, France, and so on. So of course we need to translate all the labels in all kind of languages. So yeah, that's a very simple requirement, I would say, but not so easy, especially when you don't speak Portuguese. So of course you need to go to Google Translate or whatever I think you have done maybe in the past if you were a developer for it. But yeah, but I prefer to use AI to do translation because I guess better than Google Translation. So yeah, the very quick one, as you can see, the quick use case. So here, very important, you can see that I'm not in Visual Studio. Yes, but like Rachel was before, I am in VS Code. So that's a huge change, because if you do all the technical development until the deployment, you don't need Visual Studio anymore. The normal Visual Studio, VS 2022 or the 2026 now, because I think finally the 26 is supported now, if I'm not wrong. But yeah, you have the famous standard VS Visual Studio mode, but now with AI, I can just use only VS Code, which by the way is free. So maybe good opportunity to save cost. If you are using AI, you can maybe erase all the Visual Studio subscription maybe you have for all your developers. So as you can see, I have an MCP JSON file where I have put all my MCP. So this one is the one for the X++ grounding, the X++ development. This one is the one, as I was saying, for DevOps. And this one is my, the standard MCP FNO side. So I was saying before I have developed before the CoWork plugin. So if I go to my CoWork plugin, normally if I go there, so I can, oh, they have changed it. Okay. This is weird. They have changed again the interface. So normally, well, yeah, they change a lot the interface in CoWork. So very, maybe here, customize now. No, okay. Oh, okay, I need to find it. Where is it now? Okay, okay, so they have changed. Good. Okay, so normally you have a way, as you know, in CoWork to add the, I don't know why I don't have the plugin anymore here. Maybe a bug. Maybe I will restart very quickly. Oh, sorry, I have mouse problem. Well, it's not a big deal. Yeah. So here, as I was saying, you have the all the CoWork plugin. I was saying the free on my GitHub repo. So that's the ones you can download and install. And after it will be all the, when you download it, my CoWork plugins, you can after integrate it, install it, and you see that the one I was referring, they are all there, CoWork, ADO for Azure DevOps, etc. So you can install and you can use also directly into Copilot if you like to use Copilot CoWork. Okay. But here I will say just a quick demo. I have a new requirement to build in DevOps. Check that and do the dev. I hope it will work. But so as Rachel was saying before, I am an autopilot permission, so that I can directly do everything all the way from on my prompt. And I'm using Cloud Sonnet here, which, as I was saying on my GitHub Copilot, it's maybe the more efficient and cost-efficient way. Okay, it does not exist. Okay. Okay. I think it was a work item 9. Yeah, 9. But I don't want. Why he was searching for the work item 10? There is no work item 10. Okay. Okay, so he found my work item 9. Okay. So again, normally, if the functional people were doing the requirement before, with the workshop with the transcript of Teams and using my CoWork plugin with Laze, we have done. You can do the good SFD, and then you can attach the SFD to DevOps, and then the developer can do what I do right now. Is the functional people. I have a new requirement. Do the development. So as you can see, he's doing the PTBR because I don't know why, but Microsoft have done everything in Brazil way and not Portugal, but that's another story of Microsoft. I'm still waiting, by the way, the Portugal localization, standard one. But so right now, as you can see, he's doing the creating all the labels. So when it's doing it, I can show you that if you don't know the MCP X++ yet, I can show you all the tools. So you have all the tools behind the MCP X++. So really chain of command, event handlers, creating label, generating code, smart form, as I was saying, report, tables, class info, EDT. And so as you can see, it's not just one tool. Huh? Really suggest EDT, search for existing labels, because why creating a label where you already have one standard, right? Verify the project Visual Studio 1, trigger DB sync, and build the project locally. This is why I think that since the MCP has also tools that help the project to be built locally, you can do all the dev with AI, with VS Code only. And then you can deploy it directly in your UDE, if you like, with PackCLI, because again, PackCLI, it's the way you can use still VS 2022 or 26 if you want, to have it's already creating it. Yeah. So if I go back to the normal Visual Studio, or the one that a lot of X++ developer maybe know more, you know that you have the extension in Dynamics VS here to deploy your code and etc. So you can still use this one to deploy your code if you don't want to use PackCLI. But here, when all the label will be created, I can use PackCLI to after the compilation to deploy it directly into my UDE. And then if it's working well, I can after commit the code directly into DevOps to the branch and create a pull request with it. Okay. So when he's doing it, because I think we have 10 minutes left. I will not wait.
Actually, Aurélien, I'm going to let you. We've got about 4 minutes left for you.
Okay. So yeah. Don't worry, I will finish. So just to quickly show you, I think I have done it in Dutch, right, Andre? I have done this same demo yesterday, recently completed. So this kind of dev has been done directly. And also what you can do here, all the AI can help you to, after the development, can do all the comment, markdown file, all the documentation, technical documentation, unit testing, because here in this example, I have done the dev, I have done the pull request, I have done the deployment, all by AI, all the way end-to-end flow, but also to do the testing of this requirement. And then when the testing is good, I can auto-close the PR, the pull request, in order to deploy it to my USE, to my sandbox, or even my prod, if I want. So yeah, he has done, finished. PTBR, confirm, paf, thank you. So dev finished, perfect. And he's already trying to commit. Oh yeah, commit done. Oh, incredible. I didn't ask him to commit, by the way, so okay, why not? So I didn't check it in my UDE before, but why not? Okay, and he's trying also to comment the DevOps directly. So if I'm trying to finish quickly, I just have 1 or 2 slides more, and this is it. Oops, sorry. Okay, so for me, as I was saying, before we were on the LCS mode. Now you're on the UDE PPAC era. So the thing I wanted to share it right now with the MCP, the X++, etc. And then for me, with all things I see right now, I would say that maybe next year, maybe when GitHub will be fully supported in a standard mode, when not maybe DevOps anymore, you can finally do the same thing I was doing it in my own laptop, in my VS Code, but directly in GitHub Cloud Agent. So from a browser perspective, all things done by browser only era. So, okay, so we are not here right now, okay? It's not, but for other development, like Power Platform, like HTML, Python, if you have a GitHub repo with Python object on it, you can do all the things I have done in my VS Code locally directly in GitHub on the browser, okay? So I guess for me, it could be the next migration or new way next year. And that's my last slide. So with all things I have shared right now, it's okay. My goal or my message, my end message was not just your job isn't disappearing. Okay. So as you have seen, I still need to do something, even as a human. Okay. I have my experience of F&O for 15 years, from Dynamics for 15 years. So, and maybe the AI don't have this experience. Okay. All the deployment I have done for all my customers in the past. So, but I would say that the job is moving the stack, and you are more an architect. That's what I highlighted in red below. You are more an architect to use the agent to do your role, and you still need your brain to validate, to adjust, and you are more an orchestrator, if I summarize quickly, and you are more on a judgment job, not a mechanical job. Okay. And I will go, yeah. And just to finish, all the link, but maybe I will, if it was not done, I will share it if on the chat on Teams if you want. But you have all the MCP GitHub, the CLI, the cowork plugin, the sample pipeline for YAML, my deep dive article on the ALM, and the pack CLI. And finish. Finish. I don't know if there is any question before I let.
If there are any questions, you can put them in chat, Aurélien. If you can stick around and answer them in chat, that'd be great, just so we can stay on track with the next speakers. Man, I really appreciate jumping on this subject. X++ is a thick one, but you made it digestible. So I love it. Can't wait to send it out to the world when we get this chopped up. Thanks again.